3.3 is literally around the corner. We have about the day to go. The 3.3 character banners and the weapon banner is now available to look at. So let's take a quick look through the banners. Alright, so if you don't know, now you will know. Skirmish Banner, you have Yanfei, Goro, and Faruzan. And also on the Ito banner, it's the same forces, obviously, right? But you have Arataki Ito, Faruzan, Goro, and Yanfei. So looking at these two character banners, overall, I think it's okay. My only issue is Yanfei on this banner. Like, where really is the synergy between Skirmish and Yanfei, as well as the synergy between Arataki Ito and Yanfei. Obviously, Goro on the banner here is for Ito to enable mono geocomp, which is fine. And Goro is pretty self-explanatory. He kind of has to be there with Ito to enable his comp. And Faruzan is there for Skirmish, as, I mean, yes, she's a new 4-star, but she will be very, very strong with Skirmish, and she'll help complement his playstyle. So Faruzan and Goro makes sense there. Faruzan for Skirmish, and Goro for Arataki Ito. Yanfei, I feel like could have been swapped out, not so much for Arataki Ito, but more so for Skirmish. So more of a sub DPS, maybe like a Xingshu or a Shangling. And honestly, I can't really remember when those characters had their last banner. Maybe it might have been a few patches ago. I feel like more of a sub DPS could have helped fill that role a lot better, at least on Skirmish's banner. But yeah, these two characters, Faruzan and Goro, is perfectly fine. I feel like Yanfei could have been much better swapped out for different characters. Okay, the Treacherous Weapon Banner. I think overall, this weapon banner is kinda iffy, and I feel like it depends on the character you're pulling for. Number one, let's just quickly go over what Skirmish's weapon does if you don't know. Okay, so the Tule's Tula, and I'm probably butchering this. Normal attack speed is increased by 10%, so you have that standard 10% that is increased on your normal attack speed. After the wielder unleashes an elemental skill, normal attack damage will increase by 4.8% every second for 14 seconds. So there is ramp up time for this damage buff. After this character hits an opponent with a normal attack during this duration, normal attack damage will be increased by 9.6%. This increase can be triggered once every 0.3 seconds. The maximum normal attack damage increase per single duration of the overall effect is 48%. So 48% is the max you can get for the overall effect. The effect will be removed when the wielder leaves the field. So if you do leave the field and you're using this weapon on Skirmish, then you'll basically have to like reaccumulate this buff over time again once you re-enter the field. So and using the elemental skill again will reset all the damage buffs. What I want to mention about this weapon, the Tule Tula, again I'm probably butchering this, is that this weapon is very, very niche. If you look at characters like Klee, Charge Attack Andy, we look at Yanfei, Charge Attack Andy, those characters rely heavily on charge attacks, and this weapon that's a normal attack speed boosting weapon, a normal attack damage boosting weapon, will be very, very niche on those characters. And also if you compare this catalyst to catalysts like Kalgor's Verity, that's currently going on the Yai and Child Banner currently right now, if you compare it to the Skyward Atlas, and the Lost Prayers, this catalyst is a very, very niche weapon. And as a Koyaverse, I understand adding in signature weapons for new 5-stars, but at the same time, it's like, please, stop making these niche weapons. I don't want to get into too much detail and rant too much about this. These niche weapons need to stop. Red Horn Stone Thresher obviously is a very, very strong claymore on Ito. It's his best in slot. Red Horn is also very, very strong on Noelle, her best in slot. You can also use Red Horn on Eula and as well as Diluc. So it isn't like the best in slot on Diluc and on Eula, but it is usable. So that kind of goes into my other point of like what character you're pulling for, whether you're pulling for Skirmish or whether you're pulling for Arataki Ito. If you're pulling for Skirmish, and for whatever reason you want to go balls deep on this banner and try and get the Tule's Tula, then if you do get the Red Horn, at least it's somewhat usable on other characters outside of Ito and outside of the well. On the other hand, if you're pulling for Arataki Ito, and you do get the Tule's Tula, you might be in the situation where it's like you're kind of like figuring out like who I'm gonna use this catalyst on. I feel like you're kind of more in the negative than on the Skirmish hand, so just keep that in mind if you get what I'm saying. If you're going to the 4-stars, I think the 4-stars, I mean, okay, Favonius Bow and Sack Sword are obviously very, very strong weapons. Sack Sword, you can use it on Xingshu, very, very strong on him. Favonius Bow, Goro's on the banner, very, very good for Goro. You can use it on other characters like Venti, you can use it on Dayona, right? So Favonius Bow is a very, very strong bow. Wavebreaker, I feel like it's kind of iffy, and it is a limited 4-star weapon, so it does get rate ups, so you cannot get the Wavebreaker on the standard banner, keep that in mind. There are other options like the Catch that you can get for free, which is a very, very strong polearm, so I don't think Wavebreaker by any means is 100% a pull option for you. I have perception, this catalyst is this complete dog doo-doo. Okay, I don't have to go into much detail about this catalyst, just don't look at it, okay? Favonius Greatsword, I mean, you can use it on characters like Dory, for example. I don't think it's like that good of a Favonius weapon compared to the bow and compared to like the sword and polearm. But anyways, overall, this banner, I feel feel like it's not really worth pulling for, in my opinion. But if you want to do it, then I mean, you do you, I guess. But I just think it's just way too niche in terms of the 2 leaves Tula. And I mentioned this on a previous weapon banner in the past. If you know, you know. You gotta put yourself up in a situation where you win both ways. And I feel like this weapon banner, in terms of limited 5 stars, is just not really that worth it. But again, you do you. That is the end of the video. Hopefully you guys have a better idea of what you should be pulling for. At the end of the day, it is your game. You do whatever the hell you want. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below if you guys are going to still be pulling on these banners, whether you want Skirmish or Taki Ito, and whether you'll be pulling on the weapon banner or not. I would definitely like to hear it. But yeah, like and subscribe, all the good stuff. Love you boys, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.
Told my brothers one day we gon' make it. We just gotta grind for that paycheck. Mama told me one day I'll be famous. Remember when she used to say she hate this? Back then they would laugh when I say shit. Now I'm in